Hey, FlimsyLunchTray here, and welcome to World Warships for our Friday edition video here in Standard Battle on the map Ring. Today I'm going to be featuring the Tier 6 Premium French battleship, or Battlecruiser should I say, the Dunkerque. And this one being the B version, the black version. I'm divisioned up with a clanmate of mine, Sergeant Murder, and he is in what I'm just going to call the PEF. So that's just what we call it in our clan. I think that's just goes around as a whole in World Warships, but it's in the PEF for all intents and purposes, because me trying to pronounce the ship isn't probably going to get us very far. So, reading from the WoW's Wiki and the overview on the ship, the Dunkerque is a high-speed battlecruiser designed to counter German heavy cruisers. The ship had good torpedo protection, carried numerous dual-purpose guns, and had powerful horizontal armor. Her main turrets were placed in the fore end, thus making any aft firing secondary scenarios impossible. So you got these nice secondaries on the back of the Dunkerque. For those of you who might have the Jean Bart Premium Tier 9 French battlecruiser, will kind of be right at home with the Dunkerque, a ship I still want to pick up at some point. The player opinion performance of the Dunkerque on the WoW's Wiki is insanely long, so I'm just going to link it in the description below, but what I am going to do is read the pros and cons. The pros: fastest main battery rate of fire among Tier 6 battleships, good main battery traverse speed, excellent AP and HE shell velocity, and good AP penetration, and you're going to see that demonstrated in this battle. All forward turret placement allows Dunkerque to retain her firepower while presenting a small angled profile. Above average secondary firepower, the fastest Tier 6 battleship with a base speed of 29.5 knots. And now I'm not sure if that's still true, given the repulse. Cons: only 2 main turrets, losing one can be an extreme disadvantage. Main battery accuracy is fairly subpar, extensively covered in 26mm common plating, vulnerable to HE spam and overmatch from 380mm and larger calibers. And you are also going to see that demonstrated in this battle with an enemy New Mexico. Poor AA defenses, vulnerable to plane attacks, extremely limited secondary firing arcs while when engaging targets from the front, and poor concealment. So the Dunkerque, I've actually enjoyed playing this ship a lot from time to time. I haven't played it recently. This battle is probably a couple months old. And I'll be doing an upgrade commander build on the Dunkerque tomorrow. But I enjoy these ships in the game where just all the main battery is on the fore end of the ship. Like Lenin, I really enjoy playing Lenin, because this is a different play style, and you don't have to show this insane amount of broadside, maybe to get at your rear after off, because all turrets on the front. We're looking over the ship. You have, your HE, AP. You have your depth charge strike, standard damage control party. Here you see I have 5 repair parties, and we have fighters. And we have 3 fighters. I'm not sure if I've already used one, because I was reading the WoW's Wiki, if there was more there or not. So you can have the spotting aircraft or the catapult fighter. I've just gone with the catapult fighter just because that AA defense is subpar, as we get Citadel there on the Tier 5 BB, the Cavor. And we are top tier, Tier 6s and Tier 5s, which is really nice. 1 submarine and 1 destroyer, and also a CV as well, and we'll be seeing that CV later in addition to this. So, but the Dunkerque, basically, she does have the best armor in the world. You really do have to be conscious of the overmatch when you're looking at the ships that this talked about, having that 380mm or above, because you will get punished. You'll lose your health very quickly. For example, I was in, as I'm recording this video on Monday, I was in a battle. I was in Lenin last night. Lenin, I think, had, was it 4 or 6s? I don't remember, but it's bigger than 380s. And we slapped around an enemy Dunkerque, and we were just chunking him for large, massive amount of damage, because I knew I overmatched him practically everywhere on his ship. So when you are bottom tier in the Dunkirk, things are not going to go well for you, because once you start getting more, I mean, even tier 6, but tier 7s and tier 8 BBs, a lot of them overmatch you, and so you feel pretty vulnerable, and you really have to play it safe. Now you've seen we've got some depth charge strikes on the enemy submarine, so we're trying to deal with him and being able to help secure this flank for our team. The opposite flank is falling apart. As you can kind of see, we're trying to push this momentum. Here I'm reversing. I'm trying to see if I can get my front turrets off, or my only turrets off here on the enemy Koenig. I'm just popping depth charge and armaments just so I can get an overview. This island has this curve to it, and I am still reversing, and I'm like, well, I think he's going to go behind, and I think all of our shells just impacted on the island, so just being mindful of that. Here you can see, even with this angle, we only got a couple secondaries off there, not too many. When you have a destroyer pushing you from the rear, it's actually the secondaries are all right in being able to help you out somewhat for the most purpose. So we're dealing with the enemy CV right now, flying around. We're still trying to see if we can get maybe an angle on this Koenig, and then there's also the Bedoni, who's pushing up and very low on health. We get some more depth charge strikes in on the enemy sub, so we really do not want him around, so we're going to keep using those as much as we can. But not being able to get anywhere, I decided I need to go ahead and push back forward, because I don't really want to leave my clanmate Sergeant there all alone, because he's having a difficult time there. Our Loneheart does take out the Bedoni, and we're going to accelerate back forward, and we're going to go ahead and use a repair party. My experience, as I was talking about at the beginning of this battle with Dunkirk, is really good. As we lose Sergeant, it's been really good. I really enjoy this ship, and you're going to even see more so later in this battle as I continue to enjoy playing the ship quite a lot here in this match. This is not a long-range battleship. You're really playing more at the mid-range, so 12 kilometer and closer. Bye-bye. Finally got him. But you're really playing at the mid-range, 12 kilometer and a little under. Granted, you don't want to overextend because of the HE spam. The ship just doesn't do well with that. And also when you start running into ships being overmatched. So Dunkirk, to get the most out of her, you really need to know what you're going up against. And it really helps to know which battleships you're facing can more easily overmatch your armor, where your plating doesn't do a whole lot for you. So here I'm moving up to see if I can maybe slap this Königsberg, who's moving across in the open. As we lose our Agincourt, and our Jaguar takes out the Sirocco. I'm seeing that correctly on the screen. So we're just waiting, and so we're setting up the shot. Yes, we are definitely broadside here. We don't want the New Mexico or the Mackinson to get a volley in over here, because we can just get wrecked by the New Mexico. But we do get one Citadel out of 8 shells fired. Only one of those found its way home, and the only one that mattered. So that's kind of beginning, illustrating that lack of accuracy at subpar. So it's okay. The speed of the Dunkirk does help you get around on the map really helpfully. And he's outside of our depth charge airstrike range. So we're reversing, we're being conscious, we're having this big island between me and the New Mexico and the Mackinson. Granted, they are a little distracted. Our Mutsu does take out the enemy submarine, which is great. So when you're on this map ring, it's called ring because these ring of islands in the center, it can really cut down time if you need to move between them to get to the other part of the map if things aren't going well. Here I haven't moved forward to go around towards the enemy cap yet because I was trying to help support our team with some of these cross map shots. So you can see I'm looking for opportunities to be able to punish eyeing this Königsberg. We are going to lose our Mutsu to flooding from the Razer. So now I just need to push up and around here and apply some pressure on the cap. Maybe that will pull some attention of the enemy team off of our flank. So I'm trying to be a team player here and trying to figure out what I can do to be able to help our team. And it's actually been a while since I've watched this clip, so Trying to quite remember what all exactly happens here. So here goes the Agincourt. I actually do not have correctly pronounced that ship. But it looks like I've opted for a kiting angle at the moment. We have this enemy Mackinson who's going to give us, looks like a nice broadside here. And we're going to turn back in with our teammates because they're pushing in on the enemy cap. So yeah, that's a nice 3 pins, 1 ricochet for, what was that, over 8,500 damage. So we're going to be working closely here. We should also have a nice AA bubble between the 3 of our ships. Not that it's the best in the world. And you can see we're making good use of our fighter plane consumable as well. So the Lone Heart is definitely going to be taking some attention here from the enemy team. So do you really need to finish off this enemy Mackinson because I don't want to lose our CV. So I'll see if we can't use our speed to get a bit more closer up here. Now you can see the enemy Wesser in the background as this enemy Mackinson should be going down here as there's 2 in this battle. Prioritize our AA sector.
Breakthrough to the base.
And you can do that with the default control keys if by pressing the O key, by prioritizing your AA sector, depending on which direction you're facing on your ship. So here's another opportunity where we could actually get a cross map shot off here if we have the turrets quick enough to get around, but it goes dark. Our Jaguar is disengaged. He's coming more into this ring. So it's also not only does going through the center of this map help cut down the time, but it's a good way to escape, especially if your flank has collapsed, like our flank has collapsed. So now this Jaguar is retreating, and he's going to be of a huge help here later on. Try to get some shells over the island there, and I think we actually, all of those shells hit the island. Some more plane kills here. So now I'm going to work into getting position on this cap, where I'm going to be hugging this island here to my left a bit, because I want to try to stay close to it, mitigating the other enemy Mackinson, the New Mexico, from having shots on me. Oh, I'm sorry, the Königsberg and the New Mexico. So always using the island terrain as to get the nice citadel there, 1 of 8. Using island, use the terrain to mitigate damage. Now sitting here isn't going to be the most ideal because it makes it easier for the enemy CV to land drops on us. And so now that he's come out, trying to get away as this flank is collapsed, or his spawn has collapsed, I should say. I'm going to see if we can't punish him a bunch here, as our Lone Heart is still taking a lot of damage and is on the verge of death. Don't expect him to be around much longer. So if I just kept sailing past this island on my left and then the next on the left, and New Mexico would have a full broadside into me, and because I know how powerful his guns are, that they overmatch my armor, we don't want to be doing that. So pick up the Confederate there, nice 11k salvo, 5 of 8 shells hit. So you can see that mid-range, you can see the Wester's 11 kilometers away. You were able to land most of your shots at that mid-range to closer range. And there goes our Lone Heart. So this is really becoming a match. We're now 3v3. And the enemy team has a slight points lead over us. They have their Königsberg on our cap. We're on their cap. Our Fred Taka, he actually just kept sailing. We get another citadel there. He just kept sailing through the cap, so that doesn't help us here. So in order to win this, we need to at least reset the Königsberg. I'm not really able to do it in this position. And what really needs to happen now is killing the CV, because he can keep flying over any time to reset me, as he deletes our Furitaka. But he can keep coming over here to reset me, and we wouldn't be able to have a faster cap progress than the enemy team does on our cap. So this is the trick with standard battle, where if you leave your home cap open, not like we intentionally left it open, but the enemy team has just pushed really well on our opposing flank, it puts you in a really difficult situation. We have to make a risky play. So our Jaguar is actually about to make a pretty risky play here, because he knows in order to win, he needs to get the reset off. And we're still looking around. We're detected by surface, so it must be the enemy CV who's the one picking us up. The New Mexico looks like he's sailing this way, so we're keeping mindful of that. Prioritizing our A sector, and we catch just a glimpse of the Wesser. I don't think it's our Jaguar who got a glimpse of him, but we just saw the top half of the Wesser, and we get him killed and pick up general offensive. And here comes the Wesser with his torpedoes. So he is going to reset us here, unfortunately. So that's kind of the downside here. So we only had 30 seconds to go, but now we're far back. So now in this situation, the Jaguar has to push out and take on the Königsberg. So the best case scenario here is he gets the reset and he actually gets the kill on the Königsberg, because the New Mexico is going to be coming in on me in under 2 minutes. I won't have enough time to get the cap before the New Mexico is able to reset me. So this is a bit of a do or die here. Where we see one set of torps in the Jaguar, 2 sets of torps, and he dies. So he got both sets off as Königsberg takes him out with his secondaries. So it's always nice when you're doing this team play, using the chat, like, hey, suggestions. And he gets the Königsberg with the torpedo, so this is great. So going to the chat to sometimes get advice. Sometimes it's not always the best advice you're going to get, but these Wiki clan members are actually really good. And now it's a 1 versus 1 scenario, and we have the points lead, because I'm still slowing down their points. Now, this is a thing that majority of the World of Warships player base does not know. Let's see if I have my aimed here at 8,000. Is that if you have the points lead, and you're the last, there's only 1 player on each team, 1 enemy team member, me left on my team. If you have the points advantage, you can actually ram the last ship. And if you're gonna be able to take him out, I have ram flag mounted, I'm pretty sure. But if you ram him, then your team wins because you have the points lead. Here I aimed towards the forward part because the armor's weaker on that bow, and I also knew I could possibly incapacitate one of his guns, which you saw us do there, because of how those guns connect into the Citadel armor. There's a vulnerable spot underneath there, so you can often incapacitate the armor of these ships. So we got a really nice chunk of damage in there on him. And now, because we have this points lead, it's time to go in here and ram him. My clanmate sergeant was like, are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? And here you saw me aiming for the main battery guns again, and we knocked it out because I'm trying to mitigate whatever damage I can take and making sure I get the ram off. And killing him, because it'd be embarrassing to ram him and he still lives and I die, because that would not be a win. But we do pick up the win, over 500,000 credits, 13,597 experience, 850 free XP with Confederate, high caliber, general offensive, 166,000 damage at tier 6 is actually pretty good. We got 4 destroyed, 4 citadels, a few set on fires. You got to see the AA at work. You got to see 5 secondary shell hits. And using our fighter consumables. We're going to top the team with over 2,300 base experience. So shout out to the Wiki clan members with their advice, and that Jaguar player for making a huge play there, because without him, I don't know, it might have just turned out to be a loss, or maybe a drive-by on the Dunkerque or the New Mexico and then circle around to Königsberg. Don't know, it was a really close call. So he really came in clutch there. Here you can see our damage layout here. Good bit of damage to that New Mexico, of course, with the ram. And we did do a little bit of a kill still on that enemy Mackinson, but he needed to go. And then what it looks like with the credits with premium accounts. So all in all, a really good battle. So a battle where no one survives. But if you find yourself in this situation and your team has the points lead, and it's, just say you're the last person on your team and there's only 1 enemy ship left, then go for the ram. If you know you have the health pool and you have a ram flag, if you're a destroyer trying to ram a battleship, you're probably not going to kill the battleship unless he's super low. So it's just kind of keeping that in mind when you find yourself in these situations, if you can trade the ram in a way that brings about victory for your team. So tomorrow we'll be doing an upgrade and commander build video on the Dunkerque. I've quite enjoyed coming back down, having more of these tier 6 battles. I've done a lot of the tier 10 upgrade and commander build videos lately. higher tiered ones. So I really enjoy the mid tier because you get away from more of the gimmicks that you find higher tier. So I hope you don't mind me pulling this tier 6 replay from back in December from the looks of it on the battle time. So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you do want to see more. If you're subscribed, thanks so much. I really appreciate it, and we'll catch you here next time. Take care.